Hello everybody, my name is whimreaper and I am so excited today to be releasing version 3 of my Overhaul save file. So if you don't know what that is, you can go check out the two videos in the description below. One is the first part, which has way more information, and the second part is showing what I've updated so far, but I'll just quickly give you a little recap. So the first release includes the base game worlds, and for those of you who might be thinking that means that they all only use base game content, I am sorry, but they don't. They do use other packs, mostly cats and dogs though, so if you have that one, you're probably good to go. So far I've released these three worlds in the first release, and Windenburg and Brindleton Bay in the second release. Now I've also mentioned in the past that Forgotten Hollow is actually like 100% up and running, ready to go. So that one I'll kind of include in this review, but I was going to release it at the same time as Glimmerbrook, but I ran into problems there. But anyway, long story short, today, version 3, I'm releasing this one kinda sorta like it's been ready for a long time. It's probably like even in the second version it's complete, but we're doing Myshuno, which is the exciting one, and then Forgotten Hollow, which is like the secondary one. So we're gonna start off actually in Forgotten Hollow, I think. So you guys might have seen this already at this point, but basically this is it. This is Vlad's house. I kept it basically similar to what he already had, made it a little bit lighter colors and modernized it a little bit on the inside, and I also made him look like more modern, and basically he's just such an iconic character. I thought I didn't want to change very much about him, so he's just in a slightly renovated house and he has like a new look. So you can read about him when you download the save file. And then the new household is the Hawthorne household, which I think I mentioned in a previous video that these are the household I play off camera, and it is the two sisters from like the third generation of my save file or something, and their dog Loma. So they're a really fun bunch. They have their own little mausoleum style house. Then there is this one, which is the most expensive. It is a renovated church which has like sleeping arrangements for humans and vampires, so if you just want the gothic look, your humans can totally live there, vampires can totally live there, you can use it as a church if you want. Like, it's really versatile, and I think it's a really pretty lot for either residential or community, so I'm really proud of that one. And then the two more cheap kind of houses are this Skyrim cottage, which I did do a let's build for, so you can check that one out if you want, and this Emberleaf farmhouse, which I did a speed build for. So I guess I've actually shown you guys quite thoroughly this world. I'm not going to go into any of them because, yeah, you can go on the gallery. I think all of the builds are there except this one, and you can go on my YouTube channel and see me building these two. So I think that's pretty much it for Forgotten Hollow. I did also add in the Manage Households category, these two brother and sister. So they're the Arellano brother and sister. They're vampires, obviously, but I didn't put them in a house because I didn't want to occupy what little space there is in this town, but they are there, so like if you want to play them or move them in, then you totally can. So that is Forgotten Hollow. And then Myshuno is definitely the bigger one. This took me so long to get up and running. All the little apartments are completely redone, inside and out, like it basically as much as you can possibly change, they've been changed. This save file, or this version, ends up using quite a few packs, I will warn you. Some of the older builds I've done, like this Art Nouveau museum and some of the apartments like in here and in here, they will only use like a few packs, but then some of the newer builds like this Sky Dome fitness gym and this Club Monique, I believe those ones use quite a few. So that's a warning. Some of the stuff might get replaced or removed, but I try to use as much city living and as little of the other packs as I can when I'm building. So hopefully, obviously, if you have access to Myshuno, you'll have access to most of the items that I used. But I'll just give you a little tour. I don't think I'm going to go directly inside of any of the builds, but I do have some screenshots of just around Myshuno that I'll put at the end of the video if you want to see close up like what they look like. But I'll start with like households and like where they live, I guess. So the first household is Tanvi Abbott. So her deal is that she's like a Simstagram baddie, you know, like obviously the Sims version of Instagram. And I put her in like this really party interesting club style house that's like renovated from the 1900s or whatever. So that's pretty neat. I'd say she's kind of like over where all the hub is of like the spice market, so she's really cool. She has a lot of relationships, a lot of interesting relationships, so I encourage you to check her out. Her father and brother are in Oasis Springs. If you want to like connect the stories up, you can. Then we have the Old Teddy Factory. This is just the standalone residential lot in San Myshuno. It is similar style to the one that's here originally, but I just kind of give it my own little twist. It's kind of more family oriented than I would have actually expected when I started building it. I kind of remember the process I went through, but that one is it's quite expensive, but definitely doable. So if you want to like live in the city, I think that's pretty decent. Then we have the apartments. Now all of them are completely redone, like I said, so I've designed every single one of them inside and out, like I said, as much as you can possibly do. So you can't really change the outside too much, but we have 2 households that live here and then 2 empty apartments, and I kind of tried to keep all of these ones looking really quite dated or retro. So that's the theme of the Culpeper apartment set. So we have this household, Gamez, living in this apartment, which is kind of 2000s style or 90s even. Maybe a little bit like, just like quite a range between 90s and mid 2000s. So they're the Gamez household. I actually use them for a random genetics challenge, but hardly anyone saw that video, so they'll probably be new to you. So they have a little story. They're not like super duper complex, but I kind of thought that there needed to be a normal family somewhere in this world because everyone else has quite a bit of drama. Then there's Irvin. So his name is Dominic Irvin, and his wife is in Del Sol Valley with his kids. You can probably tell that there's some drama there just by the fact that he's living alone in an apartment in San Myshuno, but I'll let you discover that story for yourself. Then there's like a 70s apartment, and this one I would say is just like kind of dated. It's not really any particular era. So that's the Culpeper apartment set. And then the Jasmine Suites. These ones are kind of like soft. I don't know. There's not really anything that ties them together other than they're very soft and they're quite cheaply furnished. So this one, the furnishings are, 18,000. So I think this is a starter apartment by all means. And this one is a little more expensive. So if you had a little bit of extra money from like the create a story, then this would also be a starter apartment. This one uses a lot of Realm of Magic stuff and kind of like movie hangout, laundry day, so it's really boho. And then this one uses only base game, laundry day, and city living, I think. So I try to limit myself on packs, as you can see. Okay, so that's like the cheap-ish neighborhood. Of course, the houses are not cheap, but like, you know what I mean. And then over here, we have Medina Studios, which are all empty. They're all medium-sized, and then each of these kind of has a little bit of a story, I guess. Like this one, I've definitely like done up really quite fancy, and I would say that this is like, yeah, it's definitely in range for like a middle-class family, but it's like, it's an apartment, so it's quite expensive for that. But you could also just like delete some of the furnishing you don't like or whatever. And they also, because of how expensive it is, I gave like 2 benefits to having this house, that like things are gonna get fixed on their own and you're gonna find money everywhere, so that might incentivize you a little bit. Then there is this little apartment, which is really cheap. This is probably the cheapest one, and I made it like super extra colorful weird, and I don't know why I went with that. I kind of just made like these 2 kind of cringy looking, because you know, apartments are like that in real life, so you gotta have a couple. This one is haunted and it is quiet, and just like you might expect, it's kind of spoopy looking. Like, I wouldn't want to live there, but you can read the story about that. And then we have the Museum of Art Nouveau. If you know what Art Nouveau style is, it's basically like what the buildings of those artists at the time would look like. And I kind of based them off of some reference photos mixed with like just knowing how the style works. I took art history, so you know, but yeah, it is actually an art center, so your Sims can go there, look at the historical building, paint, sculpt, whatever they want. There is some stuff missing from other packs because I didn't have all of them, so I didn't put in everything you can do that's artistic, but pretty much as you could think of with the packs that I had. Then we have the photo ready penthouse. There's a speed build of that on my channel, so check that out if you're wondering. This one uses a ton of Myshuno stuff, and that's because I made it as a Myshuno build intentionally. So if you don't have Myshuno, the furnishings probably won't be great, so just get it unfurnished or whatever. But if you do, it is like, I spent a lot of time figuring it out, so I'll just go to these two now, which are another couple of households, and these two households are sort of linked, like they're neighbors obviously, but like, I don't know, you can read the stories for yourself. But Cole lives here, he's a photographer, so his whole apartment is like photography styled. And then Audra, I think is her name, she lives here and she is like a total musician. She loves minimalism, so she's also an artist too. I made her paint the mural on that wall over there. I can't like point at it without it covering it, but you could probably see it. And yeah, basically she is like, if you have Get Famous, I would recommend like getting her a video station, because that's kind of what I intended for her, would be like she'd be making music oriented YouTube videos, but like I didn't have Get Famous at the time. Actually, I think it wasn't even released at this point, so I kind of was thinking a bit too far ahead there. But I didn't put in a recording station simply so that it'd be more accessible for who does and doesn't have the packs. And I think she's in like the entertainer career, if I'm correct, so even if you don't have Get Famous, like she's still in the music career. So that's that. So that's that neighborhood. Then over here we have Japanese Garden, which is obviously a Japanese garden. There's 3 pavilions. It works for weddings and for like dinner events, and I think there's like meditation station in one of the buildings, but basically there's tons of stuff there. It's really peaceful looking. I love it. I would hang out here all the time with my Sims if I were playing in this file right now, but I'm not. But it's definitely go check it out. Like go there for a date or something, because it's beautiful, if I do say so myself. Okay, and then like I mentioned, there's a Sky Dome. It is a gym. It has a pool as well, and it has like a basketball court in there. I'm not extremely proud of this build, but it did turn out like kind of cool looking, so it's got what a gym needs, and I think it looks more realistic than the gyms in the game currently. So if you're into realism, that one is a little bit more for you. Then there's Club Monique, which is a lounge, and it is like a multi-tiered, really open plan lounge. It looks really dumb from this angle, but if you like go on the lot, it's really bougie. It's like got a swimming pool and a wedding arch, and it's like really just for like more mature Sims to hang out and like club, but like it's not like a dance club. It's toned down. That's why it's a lounge. So yeah, that one is on the rooftop obviously, and that's like your city event place. So then finally in this area, oh my goodness, actually there are so many more apartments than I remember. Okay, so for this one, this is like the really tall spire apartment, like where it's got all these floors. You can't really see, but there are, I think, 3 bedrooms in this house, and it's way adult oriented, but you could definitely have like teens living here too. But yeah, it's super fancy, probably really expensive. And then these ones I will guarantee you are very expensive because I made them that way intentionally. These are the 2-story apartments. This one is more like mid-century style. It definitely uses a lot of Get Famous. And this one is more classic historical style. So that's what they look like. This one is the bigger of the two, and then this one is more like modern kind of style. And this one would definitely be good for kids or teens. And then Alto apartments. So these are the huge single floor ones. This one is all black, white, and orange themed. I don't know why, I just went crazy with it. But it's really, really like fancy, but it's like actually not that expensive. So if you just need, it says it has 1 bedroom. That's a lie, it has 2. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, if you just want like a place for like a couple of couples, or like a couple and 1 kid, this is like actually really decent for how fancy it is. Then there's this one, which is really expensive, but it has like a ton of room. It has 3 bedrooms, but no, it has 4, doesn't it? Sorry about that. It has 4 bedrooms. I probably messed up when I was writing down everything, but anyhow, it is huge. It has plenty of space. Definitely good for kids, good for a couple, good for whatever you want. It is more dated style, like really classic looking, but it's not like distastefully so. So it is expensive and a little dated, but if that's what you're into, is like more traditional, this is perfect for your Sims to live in. And then that's the really expensive neighborhood. And then finally, we're kind of like on this, which is like the in-between. It's like a little more fancy than these two, but not by much. We have this karaoke bar, which is one of my most popular builds on the gallery. Like, if you guys want more 90s stuff, comment down below, because I will do it. But like, I built this in like 2 hours. That's really, really short time for me. I tend to take way too long on my builds, but I built this in like 2 hours, and it's one of my most famous builds. And it's just because like, I don't know, I'd packed that full with 90s stuff. So if you're into that, there's your karaoke bar. Then there's this Prism penthouse. It is gigantic. It has way more bedrooms than you'll ever need. It has tons of bathrooms, tons of activities, plenty of outdoor space, a pool, a deck. Like, this is expensive for a reason. So, and I did put it on a ley line because of how many bedrooms there are, so that makes sense to me. If you're gonna have like 8 kids, well, you can't. If you're gonna have like 7 kids, then there's gonna be plenty of space for all of them, plus like a guest bedroom. So yeah, that one is huge. And it took me so long because I hate building the penthouses in this game, I'm not gonna lie. Then we have the last household, which is Sycamore. She is an elder. I'll just click on her so you can see her more. And then, yeah, she's just like a chilled out, like kind of hippie person. She lives by herself on this apartment, and she doesn't have a job. I would say she's retired. I think I made that like canon. I don't know. But anyhow, she's living in this kind of, yeah, Zen apartment. I made the Zen View apartments both kind of like really hippie, so you can see them here. They're both really similar style, so you can like hardly tell where one ends and the other begins. But this one, that she's not living in, I think. Or is she living in that one? Okay, there's a room for a kid, so I guess if she ever like adopted a kid or something, she could have them sleep here, but I believe I actually meant to put her in this one. Oh no, she is in that one. Okay, that's confusing with the layouts. I am sorry. So yeah, this one has room for a kid, so if your Sims like the boho like style and you want them to have a family, that's perfect. And then there's finally just this last one. I'm trying to go through it kind of quickly so I'm not taking out too much time, but you can also just skip through the video if you don't care. But there is this one, which these are all kind of like really minimal style, where like they're definitely not very offensive. This one's a bit bright colored, but other than that, like they're really clean. So this one is a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, and then it's just like really simple, really clean. It's kind of got like tiny home vibes, which I appreciate. I don't know, I don't even remember making this, to be honest, because I made this a long time ago. This one is like 2 bedroom, really crammed in living space apartment, but you know, it has 2 bedrooms and it's really tiny and it's really cheap. And then this one is a bachelor suite, which means that the bedroom is actually connected onto like the living room and like the gym and whatever else. So this one would probably be ideal for a couple, or just a single sim who can afford a little bit more of a pricey apartment, considering that it's a bachelor suite, but it's not expensive rent-wise, but it does have lively neighbors. I don't know why I put that on there exactly. Go with, like, you can change the lot traits yourself, I'm sure. But yeah, basically, this is San Myshuno, and I know there aren't as many households, but I am running into a problem, you guys, and I'm going to show you. We have almost 180 sims. Most computers can run 150 fine. 180 is getting up there, and I don't want this save file to lag way too much, so that's why the neighborhoods are a little more sparsely populated than before. I'm still putting in at least like 8 sims per world, but what I might end up doing is, because I think this doesn't actually clog up the sim count as much, is putting more households in here. So you guys can put them in houses if you want. You can take other ones out you don't like, and they all have stories. These ones will not have skills and relationships though, just so you know. That would be way too much for me to do, but they do have a story, so you can read the Arellano's story if you want to. So that's basically all that I had to say today. So if you want to download this, there will be instructions in the description. And you can watch my first and second video. I say a bit more about it, but I think at this point I don't really need to go that into depth. So if you want to download it, that would be awesome. Leave me a comment if you play in this save file like on YouTube, or just even if you have like screenshots from playing in it. If you have any feedback of things I may have missed, I do believe I gave everybody relationships, skills, and careers in this file, unless they were not meant to have it. So if you comment and say like, oh, Vlad doesn't have any relationships, that's intentional. So yeah, there are a couple other ones that are also intentional, but like, you know, if there's like one person has like absolutely 0 skills, that's probably not intentional, and please let me know. So anyhow, thank you so much for watching and for downloading if you do decide to do that. I am super proud to have finally released all of these worlds. So if I get done this one and this one, then there'll be a 4th version up. I've been working on these 2 primarily for the moment. I'm kind of stuck on these ones, to be honest, you guys. So anyhow, thank you once again, and I hope to see you in another video or another save file video, I guess. And please do like and subscribe, it helps me a lot. I know I don't always post these videos very quickly, but they take a lot of work, and I do really appreciate if you show your support by liking and subscribing. So anyhow, that is finally it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye!